What's going on, guys? Mark from Verum Ecommerce here, and today I want to talk to you about how to find winning dropshipping products in 2019 that you could scale to 6 and 7 figures. And these are the same exact methods that we use here at Verum Ecommerce to find our winning products. So before I actually go into showing you guys how and where to find these winning products, I think it's important that you have an understanding of what a winning product actually is. Now, in my mind, there are two types of winning products, and these are products that either solve a problem or have a wow factor. And so for the products that solve a problem, what we're talking about here are products that address a customer pain point or issue. So for example, if somebody's constantly hunched over because they're working on a computer and because of their posture, they're starting to experience some kind of back pain, or they notice that they're physically hunched over all the time, show them a posture brace like this and you say, hey, by wearing this posture brace, you're going to correct your posture, you're going to look better, feel better. Similarly, if somebody has a mosquito problem, if they have mosquitoes biting them, their loved ones, you tell them, hey, you put one of these in your house and they're going to attract mosquitoes and they're going to kill them. All right, and for this last product, the neck pillow, this is for customers that are experiencing neck pain because of the position they sleep in. I've honestly had this happen to myself a few times. You tell them, hey, you put this pillow around your neck before you go to bed. It's going to ensure that you're in the correct posture, that your neck isn't tilted one way or another, and you're going to wake up and you're not going to have this problem anymore. So the second type of product to consider is a product with a wow factor. Now, these are products that don't inherently solve a customer pain point or issue, but there's something intrinsically motivating about them, I'd say, that makes the customer stop and say, wow, that looks cool, or that's interesting, or wow, I didn't know that could work, or that existed, or we have something like this. So if you're like the fidget spinner, the celestial projector, or like this handheld piano even, these are all products that people are willing to spend money on. And I think it's up to you to figure out what qualities of this product are attractive and advertise those to your customer. So if you look at the celestial projector, for example, the way I would go about this is probably highlight the fact that you could turn any room into a galaxy in a matter of seconds just by plugging this thing in. You plug this in and the entire room just lights up all of a sudden. There's stars and planets, and it rotates and changes colors, and it's just like this amazing thing. The video would absolutely have to showcase the fact that it lights up the entire room. And you don't want to show maybe like a before and after scenario where it's just dark and all of a sudden the room explodes with light. So it's actually possible for a product to be both one that solves a problem as well as one that has a wow factor. And it might be a little bit more difficult for for the wow factor products to actually solve a problem. But for products that are primarily problem solvers, you could actually synthesize a bit of a wow factor in them. So for example, with this mosquito catcher, you could say it uses electricity to kill these mosquitoes, and they fly into this light, and once they fly in, they get zapped. And what you could do is either through live footage or maybe even an animated video, show them the way the technology works. So capture their imagination by showing them that this technology is great, it's 100% effective. Look at this awesome animation of the way it works. And it might never be as cool as a celestial projector in that sense, but you could still maximize the amount of, wow factor that the customer perceives, which will inherently just increase your conversion rate and increase the amount of people that are interested in your product. If you're actually curious about how to make these types of videos that really engage your customer and capture their imagination, we are going to be doing a separate video series on that at some point down the road, so keep an eye out. So I think the single most important aspect of finding a winning product is making sure that that product is actually a high quality product. And I can't stress this enough, because I know for a fact that this is the biggest mistake people make when they start dropshipping. They'll pick out any product that looks good. They won't look at the reviews. They won't order it and check it out for themselves. And they just end up either getting their store shut down or getting a bad Facebook feedback score, or, complaints from the Better Business Bureau. Like it's just a mess. You could get around all that. And the easiest way to do so is just go ahead and order the product on Amazon. Oftentimes, I'd say 99% of the time, if you have a product on AliExpress, it's going to be on Amazon. And a good amount of the time, it's also going to be shippable through Amazon Prime. So you can get it in 2 days. You can hold it in your hand. You can see if it's good quality product. You could film your own video at that point. And it's just a very low risk investment on your end to save you a lot of trouble down the road. So another thing that you really have to think about before you start selling your product is the cost of that product to you, as well as the margins you're going to get when you sell it. So Facebook ads are actually getting really expensive, and this is especially true when you start to scale. You might be able to start off with an audience that gives you $10 cost per purchase or even $5 cost per purchase. But once it starts to scale to 6 and 7 figures, it becomes difficult to sustain that cost per purchase, especially once you go worldwide. So to get around that, what you need to make sure you're doing is finding products that you could price with decent margins and that have a decent price. So what we like to go ahead and do is price our products at $30 to $100. $100 becomes a little bit more difficult to sell, so you don't want to go too high, but you also don't want to go too low. We found that it is possible to sell things at $19, for example, but it becomes more difficult. So ideally, I'd like to start somewhere at $30 or so. And ideally, what you also want is a 2.5 to 3x markup on your products. So for example, if you take a look at this mosquito trapper that John was selling, we have a video in the channel. If you haven't seen that yet, we're going to link it over here. Go ahead and take a look at that. John was able to sell his mosquito trapper for around $40, I believe. And this thing costs like $8 in AliExpress. So I think with the cost of shipping, it ended up being something like $10 total. So that's like a 4x markup right there, which is amazing. And ideally, if you're able to mark it up for more, I would say go ahead and do that, but don't go too crazy, because if you're pricing it too high, people might start to not want to purchase the product because they don't think it's worth their money. So for example, if you look at this backpack over here, this thing is $35 on AliExpress. If you wanted to follow the same pricing markup as with the mosquito trapper, you would price this like 4x, right? But that would be way too high. That would be like $35, which is a little bit too much. So the higher the base cost of the product is, typically you're not going to be able to mark it up as much. But again, it depends entirely on the product. So what you're going to want to do is look at the product and see how much it costs at base. Try to mark it up, 3 times at least. If that's a little too much, you could try lowering it a little bit and see if people react to that price. All right, last thing before we go in and actually start looking at products, I wanted to go over a few common product myths and misconceptions. So when it comes to product selection, you're going to get a ton of advice from a ton of different people. People with different conceptions of what types of products are possible to dropship or worth dropshipping. And honestly, I think it's important to throw a lot of that out the window. So one of the biggest things I see is that people will tell you you can't dropship a product somebody else is already selling. If you think about it, it's like, okay, if that guy's selling it and everybody's buying from him, why would they buy from me? What if there's 10 different people selling this product? How does the consumer or the potential customer determine who to buy the product from? And honestly, it doesn't really matter. So the thing about product saturation is that it's actually very difficult to saturate a product, especially on a worldwide scale. Meaning, once you start scaling your Facebook advertisements to target people worldwide, you have like I think it's a 3 billion person market when it comes to Facebook customers alone. And that's absolutely huge. Like, that's going to be extremely difficult to hit. So when it comes to another person selling the product that you're already trying to sell, honestly, the only thing that actually means is that that product could actually work, or it's already working. Since there's other people dropshipping this product or trying it out at the very least, they're either getting some traction or they're doing very well. If you take a look at some of their advertisements, if they have 10 million people commenting, or 10 million views and 100,000 comments and engagement with the ad, there's a pretty good chance that they're not just running that to get an engagement on the post. They're actually getting sales. They're actually profiting from it. So if anything, I say, if you see somebody else selling a product, take a look at that product yourself and see if it makes sense. And if that product makes sense overall, absolutely go ahead and test it out. So another big problem I see is that people claim that if a product is on Amazon, that it's not worth pursuing. And honestly, I don't really think it matters. The only issue I could see arising is that if the product is available on Amazon and customers are aware that it's available on Amazon. Because the reality of the situation is that most people won't go looking around on Amazon to see if a product is available. And it might be very difficult, depending on the type of product you have, for them to actually check and see if it's available on Amazon. And this is particularly true for certain pieces of jewelry, clothing, things that don't actually have like a standardized name. This might be more difficult if you're selling, something that's easily nameable, like a mosquito trap. But even then, John released his video on the channel, which we'll link above over here somewhere, where he revealed his sales for the mosquito trapper, and honestly, it just did not matter. Similarly to the first point, if somebody's already sold a product in the past, it does not matter. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work. And honestly, one of the best ways that we have to find winning products is to go back like a year or two, see what people were selling at that time, and just take those products, make a video ad, spruce it up a bit, change it up, change the creative up a little bit, and get it up and running. And honestly, 90% of the time, that's going to work. And that's actually how John found his mosquito trapper. And several of the other winning products that we're going to be revealing regularly, we just went back in time and we took a look at what people were selling and we just put it up there and made it work. Lastly, this is another one. People said this niche is difficult or competitive and it's not worth going into. And again, honestly, most of our winners actually in niches or I guess categories that you would consider to be exceedingly difficult, things that you shouldn't even bother looking at. And that would be niches like beauty, health, fitness, just about anything you could think of. It honestly doesn't matter. At the end of the day, sure, if you pick a product that's part of a saturated niche or a niche that's, I suppose, a little more difficult to get up and running, you might have to spend a little bit more money to get the product working, or you might have to spend a little bit more time trying to figure out what works and what targeting to use and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we've been able to make it work regardless of the niche the product's in. So when it comes to finding things on Facebook or finding products on Facebook, there's a couple different ways to go about this. The first is an app called Turbo Ad Finder. Actually, this is a Chrome extension. It's a Google Chrome extension. It's free. Just go ahead and get it off the Chrome store and just throw it in there. And what it does is it essentially filters out your Facebook newsfeed so that you're only seeing sponsored posts or ads. And the second is the Facebook ad library, which is it's a solution that Facebook put together. It replaces the info and ads section, I believe, that used to be part of Facebook. And what it lets you do is you could look up any organization, any Facebook page, or any, I believe it was keyword or set of keywords associated with an ad. And Facebook will essentially just give you a list of ads associated with whatever you put into the search. And lastly, you have the Facebook video search, which is basically just using the Facebook search function on the newsfeed and filtering it out for just videos. And I'll show you guys an example of each of these in a sec. All right, so once you guys have gone ahead and installed Turbo Ad Finder, what you want to do is go up to your top bar over here. Go ahead and click on that F icon, and it'll bring you up a little menu like this. You just got to hit this toggle over here. If you notice, it just went ahead and filtered out everything other than advertisements. So now if you scroll down, we have a hair removal tool here, another one, indestructible shoes. I don't know how people are still running this. It's incredible. Some kind of blender or juicer. Yeah, but basically, you're going to find that you're able to get to a lot more actual advertisements for e-commerce products. And while you might still have a bit of trouble, if you're not engaging with these ads regularly, you might be getting random video ads for, I don't know, the next presidential election or something like that. So if you're not getting enough e-commerce ads, what you could actually do is scroll around until you find one. For example, this power bank. And go ahead and engage with it. So give it a like, maybe throw in a comment. Definitely hit the shop now button. And what that actually does is it lets Facebook know that, hey, I'm somebody that's interested in these advertisements. Can you show me more of those? So another good thing you could do is just go ahead and add it to your cart. And actually go ahead and go through like a step or two of the checkout process. You don't have to actually buy the product. Although I guess if you really wanted to get some ads going, that could work. But yeah, just go ahead and fill that out and click continue shipping and get through some part of the checkout process. And that should start getting you some more advertisements easily. So another tool that you have at your disposal is the Facebook ads library. And I think this tool is more useful if you have a particular page or product in mind. And if you go ahead and go to facebook.com/ads/library, I'll show you why. Basically, what you do is you put in any term or page or organization in here, and Facebook will actually show you every single one of the ads that they're running. So for example, Dress Lily, they're running, I didn't even know, 400 ads right now, at least. What you can see is the ad, the copy, the creative, as well as some of the details. It'll show you where they're linking the user to, etc. So if you have a page that you've seen on Facebook that's running ads, or you have a product in mind, you could easily go and see other people that are running this product. So for example, if you want to go look at the mosquito trap, there you go. There's a million pages running the mosquito trap. And you can take a look at each of their ads and see what kind of stuff they're running. And I don't think you could see engagement on the desktop version of this, but you might be able to do this by looking through this on mobile. Alternatively, what you could do is you could put in some common dropshipping terms, like, 70% off sale on stay, 24-hour sale, closing store sale, etc. People are going crazy over this. If you just go ahead and put that in, you might be able to find some products this way. Honestly, this isn't the best way to find random products. This is more so if you have a particular product or tool or page in mind. In addition to Facebook Ads Finder, as well as the Facebook Ads Library, you could actually just go ahead and search for videos and posts. And similar to the Ads Library, what you could do is either look up specific products or pages or use common dropshipping terms. And I find that if you use common dropshipping terms, this is actually a little bit better. So if we go off today only and click videos, maybe not this one. Let's try the limited time offer. There you go. Just about, yep, there's a dropshipping product right there. Yep, a vegetable cutter. And honestly, you'd be surprised at what you could find here. There's at least a couple of winning products that I've seen right off the bat, like this gun hose thing, Extreme Clean Power Washer. I've seen many people selling this, and I actually have a friend that was able to scale a store to 6 figures with this product. But yeah, you could go ahead and look around for videos. Definitely try out different terms. You might get better results with one term over another. Limited stock only. Sure, let's give that a shot. Yeah, there's a hair product right there, some sort of watch, and some kind of tactical laser attachment to your flashlight. Okay. All right. So if free winning products aren't exactly your thing, you are more than welcome to try using paid tools. Now, I don't necessarily recommend using paid tools because it's absolutely not necessary to dish out money, especially when you're just starting off, to find a winning product. I think that's a common misconception that, these paid tools are going to give you an edge over everybody else, that this is the best way to find a winning product. And while they give you a little bit of convenience because you're able to filter out results quickly and get statistics on products and whatnot, it is absolutely not necessary to use these. The good news here, though, is that a lot of these tools offer either a free trial or some sort of functionality for free. And for these 3 tools that I've used, the free options are absolutely 100% enough to find a winning product. You don't have to actually buy the software. So I've tried out Salesforce, Seller Pulse, and Ecom Hunt, and I'm going to go into depth into each of these. So Salesforce is the most expensive out of all these. It's something like $50 a month, I think. We're not affiliated with them. We're not actually affiliated with any of these products, but I would recommend them on the basis that I think they offer a decent amount of bang for your buck if you choose to go with the paid plan, and they make life a lot easier. So let's take a look at Salesforce. When it comes to Salesforce, it could be a little bit overwhelming. You jump into the dashboard and there's a ton of links here and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? There's 2 sections that I would recommend in particular, being top stores as well as best-selling products. So if you take a look at the top store section, what you're going to want to go ahead and do before you even look at any of these results is go ahead and enable dropshipping stores. Because otherwise you're just going to get a ton of legitimate brands with products that you can't exactly copy, which, while it might be inspiring and give you some ideas, I think this is a lot more practical. So once you have dropshipping stores selected, it's going to give you a list of top dropshipping stores based on how much volume Salesforce thinks that page has done. So typically what you'll actually get is general stores ranking up top with a bunch of different products that are trending on Ali and that are doing significant amounts of volume. And honestly, this is a fantastic way to find winning products. General stores, while I don't necessarily advocate making those anymore, they're a great way to find winning products. Wow, that's very interesting. I might have to try a video series on this one because I've definitely seen this everywhere. If you look, you got your indestructible shoes, some kind of shoelaces. Very interesting. This backpack has been around for years. This has been going nuts lately. And you just scroll around, honestly, go through a couple of pages, maybe jump a couple pages in. I would be surprised if you didn't find a product that worked for you. You just got to go ahead and test some of these out. All right. So secondly, you could use the best-selling product section. And what this actually does is it gives you a couple of options here in the menu. You could get best-selling products by niche, all time, trending now, and with videos. And you could go ahead and play around with a bunch of these. Typically, I like to do it by niche. And what you go ahead and do is, it'll give you a list of all these niches from AliExpress. These are all categories on AliExpress. Just go ahead and pick one. I'm going to close my eyes. Did I hit anything? Nice. I hit watches, which is actually pretty difficult niche, but... And yeah, I think everybody at this point, at least people that have been in this game for a while, have seen this watch or this one. John might actually have to reveal his 7-figure watch store, and one of these watches on this screen was, I believe, the model for his branded watch. But we'll see how he feels about releasing that. In any case, play around with it a little bit, go through different niches, bags, sure. I've seen people dropship this bag. This is definitely making somebody a lot of cash. Second, you could go do all time, and I guess this might be a little bit more interesting, but the problem with this particular section is that it's going to give you AliExpress results that have sales from any source. So a lot of these products, I don't think anybody's actually drop shipping. This might actually be legitimate AliExpress customers coming in from Russia, for example, because AliExpress is basically their Amazon, and they're just going ahead and buying these. So for this section, you might want to go ahead and jump around different pages a little bit further down to find some products that are selling. Like, oh my God, everybody. I think I've actually sold this on one of my stores at some point, one of my fashion stores. And there's if you guys ever seen Gabriel, his YouTube channel, I think he has a case study on this teeth whitening store that he had. Yeah, there you go. The boho jewelry niche. That's absolutely massive. All right, so the trending now section, this is actually a nice section. It'll give you products that are selling very well right now. And if you look around, I mean, no surprise here, indestructible shoes. I've seen this going around like crazy. I don't know if I would ever want to buy my kids one of those. That just looks like a concussion waiting to happen. Yeah, chew toys, chakra bracelets. Is that a posture brace? Nah, close enough. An air bra. Maybe I'll get one of those. But yeah, definitely have a look around, go through a bunch of different pages. And lastly, we've got this video section, which basically just gives you a list of products with videos. And you can actually go ahead and select different tags for the videos. And I believe these are generic AliExpress videos, which don't quote me legally on this. I believe you are allowed to use AliExpress videos for your Facebook videos. And at the very least, I don't see any AliExpress vendors suing you for using their video. If anything, they're going to give you a nice pat on the back because you're going to be making them a lot of money. Great way to get content for your videos and inspiration for the products. So another tool that you have at your disposal is called Seller Pulse. And this is actually a really nice tool. I really like it. It was the first pay tool that I ended up using. And I think it does have some advantages over Salesforce in that it lets you do a parameterized search where you could break down by niche and category. And you can also filter by dropshipping products as well. So if you go in here, I can't actually show you on screen because I don't have a subscription anymore and they're going to ask me to pay for it. But it's a very nice option. What it does is lets you put in things like the minimum price and the amount of orders or the feedback. You can get very granular here, I find. And it's actually a very good option. It'll show you how many orders a particular product has, the last 3 days of orders, etc. So it's actually a great choice if you're willing to dish out a little bit more. All right. Lastly, we have Ecom Hunt. And honestly, I think this might actually be my favorite. Not only is it free, but I think it's actually the easiest way to find winning products by far. So if you take a look at Ecom Hunt, this tool is a little unique in that I don't believe it's actually based on an algorithm. I don't think it's a script that's pulling these products. I believe it's just a curation of products by the website owners. And honestly, if I had to guess, I would say that they're getting these from like the trending section of AliExpress or Ali Dropship Center or something like that. But if you go ahead and log in, this is free. There are some restrictions if you don't pay for it. Like they'll lock some of the most recent products and they'll make it available to you in 50 hours, which is absolutely fine. You don't need any of this crap. You go around and scroll and you'll find a lot of really interesting products. Like these are actually kind of hard to come by on the feed, I'd say. On either Facebook news feed or Ali feed. But if you scroll around, let's see if we can find a winning product here. I've seen this go nuts. Somebody's making a killing with this product right here. yeah, you're bound to find something that works. So actually, a nice pro tip with Ecom Hunt is you should try and jump around different timelines, meaning go back in time a year or 2 years ago and see what people were selling back then. And oftentimes what you'll find is winning products that people have kind of forgotten about, that nobody's actually running right now. And, don't be surprised if you're going to find products on here like the posture brace or the mosquito trap or, whatever else it may be. This is a literal gold mine. It blows my mind that everybody isn't using this. And best of all, you don't actually have to pay to access these products from 2 years ago. The only thing that you really have to pay for is if you click on a product, there's a section here with like details and copy and the videos prepared for you. But honestly, I wouldn't even recommend using any of that. I would just look around for the products here and go ahead and make your own creative and your own copy. All right, so that's it for pay tools. Now, method number 3, AliExpress, is another great way to find products. There's a couple ways to go about this. The first is something called AliExpress Dropship Center. And I'm actually surprised not a lot of people know about this. It's not very prominently advertised on their site. But once you make an account, if you go ahead and sign in, all right, once you're signed in, go to My AliExpress. And by default, it doesn't actually have a link to the dropshipping center. Usually it's going to appear here, but what you want to do is you're going to have a message somewhere that says something about boosting your dropshipping business. Click there, click submit, and that'll enable the dropshipping center for you. This is actually a really nice tool. What you could do is you could go through various categories of AliExpress. There's a list of trusted suppliers, which is very nice if you're looking for a high quality supplier or looking for suppliers with products that are selling very well, because usually those go hand in hand. As well as a section called product analysis. Now let me show you what this is in a second. If you go back to hot dropshipping items and pick out a product in some category, or any category really. These are high volume products that are being sold on AliExpress. Let's go ahead and pick this mini projector, for example. This one's been around for a bit, and I think people are just starting to pick this up heavily now. But anyway, go to product analysis, put the URL in. What it shows you is a graph containing the volume of sales for that particular product on a particular given day. You can see it's been kind of wild with this product over the past couple of days, but this one's definitely doing some volume, and it'll give you an idea of how well a product is doing. So another way you could go about this is actually talking to AliExpress vendors. Now, there's a number of benefits to building relationships with vendors. The first being that you could go ahead and, you could talk to them and actually ask them for hot products. And, vendors that have been on AliExpress for a while will get a sense, they have an idea of recurring themes or recurring trends in terms of seasonality in certain products, as well as they have an understanding of how the warehouses work in China and the factories work in China, and they'll know which products are high quality and not. So once you've actually developed a relationship with a vendor, you can go ahead and ask them for hot products or recommendations. And I've actually found a couple of products this way. You would be surprised as to how much knowledge vendors actually have. Now, this isn't all vendors. You're going to have to look around a bit and see who's been around and who knows what. But once you figure out and build a relationship with a vendor, it's definitely something to take advantage of. All right, last but not least, we have CJ Dropshipping. And this is a fantastic way to find winning products, especially those that are currently being dropshipped that are somewhat saturated. So essentially, CJ Dropshipping is a third-party logistics company, which is a company that goes ahead and takes your product and ships it out and handles all the logistics, basically. You might not necessarily want to use them to do third-party logistics. Nonetheless, it's a great way to find these products, and you'll see why. If you go on their website and go ahead and take a look at source, it'll lead you to app.cjdropshipping.com. And they basically have a custom store, or it's almost like a little AliExpress of their own, where they have a list of products that they have in stock. And keep in mind that these are products that are in stock worldwide. There's, they have distribution centers in the US and in Europe and in Asia. So that means that these products must be in demand if this website has to stock them for other people. So if you scroll around, there's a Cosmos nightlight projector. I've seen this fuel injection bottle as well. You could find a ton of winning products this way. And the benefit here is that that these products are being dropshipped pretty consistently. You got your posture brace over here, all sorts of stuff like this. So this isn't a bad way to find a couple of winning products that other people are dropshipping that you know have potential to work. It's just up to you to get the marketing done right. So before we wrap up this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about product testing mentality. And I think a lot of people that start going into dropshipping e-commerce have this expectation that, with your first $100 to spend, you're just going to start making money immediately, or that your first day you're going to get sales. And honestly, half the time you're going to be losing money and you won't see results for a couple days maybe. And you have to be ready for that because it is a bit of a shock. And the way to think about this is that you're not just throwing money down the drain. Don't expect to get $1 back for every dollar you're putting in. At the beginning, you're spending money, you're going to be making mistakes, you're going to be figuring out what works, what type of creative is good. You're basically purchasing data. You're not only purchasing data on the product and the audience, but also on Facebook ads in general. The only way to get good at something is to actually go out there and do it and just keep testing. Keep testing different types of products, different types of creative, and eventually you'll develop a sense of what is actually going to sell well and what's not. That being said, you should also not spend too much time focused on one product. Depending on your budget and how much time you're willing to spend on something, I would say maybe spend no more than $100 or $200 before determining whether or not you want to follow through with a product. Now, sometimes this might be a little bit frustrating, but sometimes you might actually have to spend $500 before a product starts to work. But if you're not getting any early signs like add to carts and purchases, then I would just call it a day. And we're gonna be creating videos on testing and product testing as well, which we'll be releasing soon. So keep an eye out for that. Lastly, I would say spend time creating your landing pages and ads. And the reason for that is advertising, spending money on ads will only get you so far. If you want to maximize your chances of a product working out, you want to have solid copy, a solid landing page, a clean site. And we'll also be doing a video on this soon. All right, guys, there you have it. These are the same exact methods that we use here at Verum Ecommerce to find our winning products. I hope this was helpful. If there's anything I missed or anything that you have liked me to gone over, let me know in the comments section. And also make sure that you join us on our Facebook group and subscribe for more updates. I'll be linking the Facebook group in the comments section below. Take it easy.